Hi, greetings YouTube, Captain Machine here, back for another video. I'm going to make a few more of these over the next week as shorts to plug the gap, as it were, because I'm getting the new keys tomorrow morning. Quite excited. All this is going to be a thing of the past, because some background history. This used to be my sister's room. I moved back into my parents' when things didn't work out well with my previous flatmate, and I wanted to have a bit more space, and I've been stuck here for like forever. So yeah, that's why you should never borrow money, a lot of money, because you spend years of your life paying it back. But by the by, now last video we talked about the It game, which is basically LARPing in your head. We talked about the Choose Your Own Adventure books, which were amazing. Thank you, by the way, guys, for all the response about Choose Your Own Adventure books. It's nice to hear what other people's opinions on them were, because it was such an interesting gateway for so many people. I highly recommend that you track down, I think this is on the Yorksoft website, or within there somewhere, the audio of the Ian Jackson Livingstone panel at UK Game Expo, which I missed because I was not there that day. I would have loved to be in that room, I tell you. And I've seen the video for it as well, actually, but I think the video's only for patrons. And they actually asked during the seminar, who here has played a fighting fantasy book? And everybody in the room put their hand up. And they said, okay, now put your hand down. I was like, go, keep your hand up, keep your hand up if you never cheated. And almost everybody put their hand down. I would have put my hand down because I used to do that. I used to go forward and keep my thumb where I was and all the rest of it. And I think there was like 3 or 4 people that left their hands up, and I think Ian Jackson pointed at them and says, "Those men are liars." Everybody laughed. Yeah, that's kind of like humour I like about gaming. I like the fact that we can rip the mess out of ourselves and we don't take it too seriously. I know there's some drama going with RPG Brigade at the moment. I'm trying to get a grasp of it because, well, I spend most of my YouTube time at the moment watching politics. Because I've been out of the loop, as it were, because I've been trying not to get stuck in too deep to it, because I want to free up my mind, as it were, for when this holiday's going to start next week, so I can get moved in, I can get everything sorted out, and then I can get back into it in a big way. Right, I've rambled for 3 minutes. I haven't talked about my topic, have I? Basically, after playing Hero Quest, after playing Choose Your Own Adventure games, after playing the fantasy LARP game that we came up with, you would think I would go into role-playing, and no, I didn't. Role-playing wasn't really a big thing in my area. Generally speaking, I would like to think that in the 80s when I grew up, and the early 90s where I really started to mature, if you wanted to play RPGs, you had to find an existing group, and most existing groups came from universities and colleges. And I wasn't at that age level yet to get involved with that. I actually do remember at one point going to the club, like pitch, was like a whole market for clubs at university, and bumping into the RPG group. The only problem was I was commuting to university every day rather than staying there, and going to a pub in Sheffield when I lived in Doncaster once a week would have been an absolute nightmare. So yeah, that never happened, which is a shame. Really is a big shame. But back on topic, we didn't go into roleplays. We went into the Evils of Games Workshop. Basically, there was this little tiny shop called Stamp Corner, which ironically was not on a corner, but it did sell stamps. And also, the patron of the shop also sold models, little lead models of goblins and orcs and space marines and all the other things like that. And I remember I remember actually getting told about it at school once, and taking my mum in there, and discovering this whole plethora of amazing stuff, because I saw this Warhammer stuff and this Warhammer 40,000 stuff, and I'd played Space Crusade and I'd played Hero Quest, so I knew what I was looking at. I knew what I was looking at was awesome, and it was. I remember the Rogue Trader book that was there that I asked for, and alright, no, I did. I did ask for it, but then I changed my mind. To this infinite day, I regret it. But I did get a Rogue Trader book. I still have a Rogue Trader book to my name, and I don't think I'll ever part with it again. But there was Rogue Trader, and he was selling Rogue Trader, and you could get a box of Orcs and a box of Space Marines, and that got you started. And while that was appealing to me, there was this box next to it called Space Marine, which was basically epic, as we now know it. And it had 3 armies in it. It had Eldar, Space Marines, and Orcs. And I said to my mum, well, that one's got armies in it already that I can use, so that would be better for me. Not realising that Epic is the crappiest of all Games Workshop games. It has a loyal fan base and such and so forth, but in my honest opinion, it's the worst of the mass-produced games they had back out in the 90s. Took it home, assembled it, tried to understand it, couldn't get my head around it. We really hammered at this. We really tried to figure it out. We bought box sets and expansions, and we just couldn't grasp it. And then my next birthday after, I think it was Christmas or birthday after that, we went back there, and there was Rogue Trader there, but it was replaced with this nice, new, shiny, second edition Warhammer 40,000 box set, with some Space Marines and some Orcs in it, in a box set. So I had 2 armies in it. It was beautiful. And it was like, that's what I want. That is what I want. So my mum put a little bit of money down. She came in every week or every month and put £5 or £10 towards it. And the guy kept it behind the counter for it until she paid it off, and then I got it for Christmas. And it was awesome. And that started my love of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. And I will talk about the Warhammer 40,000 universe in great detail later on. But for the time being, that kick-started the best summer ever, in my honest opinion, as a gamer. Because we got into Warhammer 40,000, we really did play it. We built terrain, all sorts, we had big armies and the rest of it. But we also really got into the mini campaign games like Necromunda and Gorkamorka, which required only, say, a dozen or so models to play, rather than a full army, but were as deep in their depth, if not deeper, than the actual Warhammer 40,000 game second edition, which was already a deep game anyway. Every day I would get up, do my paper round, and from there I'd bump into my friend on the paper route. We'd go back to his house, we'd set up a little 4x4 area on the floor using string to mark out the boundaries, and we would play 40k, we would play Necromunda, and we'd play Gorkamorka until the cows came home. And it was so much fun. We really enjoyed it. And then the Games Workshop in Doncaster opened up, and we went there and we played games there, and it was so much fun. Yeah, basically during the early 90s, when I was in my mid to late teens, that's what I did. I didn't play RPGs. I mean, the idea of RPGs existed, and I kind of knew about them to a certain extent, because they were mentioned in a book I found in a library called How to Play War Games. And it didn't mention RPGs in there as being this offshoot of wargaming. But it wasn't until another fateful adventure in another library, which I'll tell you about probably next video, where my love of RPGs actually started. But that's where my love of 40k comes from, and that's where the story takes me up until I was about 16. So thank you for paying attention, guys. It's really good fun having to share these stories with you. Once again, comments down below. I'll try and respond to any questions or any comments that get directed straight towards me. And thank you for your time, guys. And hopefully the move's going to go swimmingly. Thank you for your time. Bye. Bye-bye.